morning, Tony Weber here. It's the beginning of October, and one of the things I wanted to talk to you about real quick, deer movement wise, I'm here in the backfield. This spring I planted sun hemp and I planted soybeans, about 4 acres worth, and my deer are well fed because they demolished all of it. Right now, one of the things I want to talk about was the fact that they killed the whole food plot, all of it. Soybeans gone, sun hemp gone. I came back in some spots where I have some stands set for different winds, and I put in some mini plots, you know, like half an acre of wheat and brassicas. This is something that would hopefully last throughout the winter. However, with the drought we had this year in Pennsylvania, not so good. They're still green, and I think the wheat's going to prevail and give them some green forage to last for a while. We also have a lot of red oak acorns dropping right now, which is really nice. They're hammering those. But one of the things I think is really nice deer movement wise that I've always thought, when the wind is up, and I'm not talking 15 or 20 mile an hour where you're shaking in a tree, I'm talking like 6 to 10 mile an hour. I think my deer here personally feel really comfortable moving around earlier in the daylight, because if they have a normal wind, like our wind always pushes here basically from west to east, and in this backfield I see deer activity on wireless cameras, on trail cameras in general, earlier when there's a heavier wind. Now I have stands on both sides, and I have a stand way back in the back on top of a bedding area, and I can use any of them based off the wind. But one of the things that I think is really nice is when I get up into some of these spots, especially on this side where there's a bit of a hollow, if the wind starts to drop, and this wind drops and it starts to swirl, deer get jittery. Again, I have deer come out of all sides, so I have to kind of be prepared with tree stands on all sides, and I also have to realize that there has to be a food source directly in front of me to get them to have that movement. Now again, come November, deer come out of every which way. A lot of times they come out of our new property where camp is, up this hollow, but I've had deer come from behind me, and I've had deer come the whole way, the very edge of the field here in the back, where you can see they come across this top. There's a huge grapevine thicket that I've talked about before, and there, deer don't often come out unless there's deer in the field. If there's deer in the field here now, and that wind is pushing towards them, they feel really safe. So they already know there's a lot of deer in the field, and that's when I start to see them coming out. They are very selective, and they take their time. So if that's the case, I have to be kind of up close and personal and be right there where the deer are coming out with my tree stand selection. I still have one more to put up on that side. I don't even know if I'll hunt it this year. It all depends on the movement the rest of the month here in October, because I do know there's a decent amount of oaks up there, and if they're continuing to hit these acorns the way they have been, I may want to put a stand inside where some of these oaks are, and hopefully catch a buck cruising. And I think what they do a lot of times is they cruise this whole flat top of this ridge here close to bedding. They can smell anything that's out here in the field, and if there's no doe and heat, they don't come out, they move on. So just another reason why me sitting on a food plot in November hasn't always panned out. I mean, I guess, yeah, if you live in Iowa or Kansas or Missouri and you're passing up 3 and 4 and 5-year-old deer looking for something ginormous, maybe they do that there. But here in Pennsylvania, the deer are very wise, especially the older deer, and we see trail camera pictures of deer back in the woods, and I think what they're doing, they're just scent checking the whole field. If there's nothing here, they move on. So it's something that I'm planning to explore more. I'm soaking some trail cameras right now, literally for the whole season. I'm just gonna let them run till like January. And it's one of the things I've used in the past when I was younger. I had a certain spot back in South Central PA where I put a trail camera up in September, and I checked it every couple of weeks, and I had a tree stand right there on a saddle in between two ag fields, and I never hunted it until I started seeing buck show up. Because buck didn't show up for a month and a half. But the second they did, I knew it was time to get in there. And I was very successful just waiting and being patient, and only sitting in that stand like 1 or 2 times a year. So this is the back field. I love it because there's a lot of different options, and deer can come out of any area. And next year the plan is to make this even more lucrative with food. We just got to figure out a way to keep deer off of it. And we may do some fencing. I've done some fencing in the past, but once that fencing comes down, deer usually hit it. So that may be the direction we have to go, so that I can give whatever I plant a fighting chance to survive and grow.